Hello, hello, hello. I am pretty sure I'm live, but I'm going to really quickly try to tag some people. I don't know. I keep hearing from other people that you can't do that right now, so maybe I can't. But what I'm going to do is actually go onto my computer and try and take some people that way. Because there were some people who requested to be tagged. And I apologize, I am sick, so my voice sounds terrible. Hopefully I won't be coughing too much or anything like that. Okay, I see myself live, so there's a start. And I am just going to see if it will let me tag people. Don't know why it's being so difficult. Katie, I see you. Say hello so that I know if my comments are working. And I'm just quickly going to try to tag some people who asked to be tagged. It's really like it's not going to let me, I don't think. It's like not pulling at people from the group for some reason. Try someone else here. Okay. You know what? I find this really frustrating. Okay, Katie, can you type hi so that I know that I can see comments? And I'm really annoyed that this isn't working. Okay, I got one. I'm still not seeing comments, so hopefully my comments are working. So I am talking today about 6 things that you need to master if you want to get the most work done while your kids are around. Sorry, still trying to tag people here. These are probably things you've heard before, maybe with a different twist or with a different perspective. And I do have some caveats I'm going to throw in there and such. Okay, last time to try to tag this person, and if it doesn't work, then it's too bad. I hope I'm not just like spelling a name wrong. Okay, I don't know. I will try to tag her later. Okay, so even my comment isn't showing for me, so I might not be able to see comments, but I'm going to start because I don't want to go on forever without actually saying anything, right? So hello, I'm sorry again, I'm sick, but as you are jumping on, say hello so that I know that you're here. I know that my comments are working. And so really quickly, I am just going to throw out some caveats. I'm going to say that, first of all, I don't do permissive parenting. No means no in my world, and I'm very firm. I am also fairly easygoing, and so a lot is allowed, but when it's not allowed, it's not allowed. With all of these tips that I'm going to give, I am not promising you no bad days. I'm not promising you that your kids will always be perfect and listen, right? I never say all or nothing. It's always all or something. I also don't do helicopter parenting. So for example, sometimes my kids are out of my sight, and not just when they're sleeping. In my opinion and in my experience, you need to release control. of seeing and knowing what they're doing every second of the day if you don't want them to need you every moment of every day. Okay, so those things said, there's a few baseline things that you want to have in place if you want to be productive and be able to get things done while your kids are awake and around. And so I'm just going to go over those really quick, and then we'll get into the 6 things that are going to help you to get the most done. So first of all, do they know? Are they aware? Have you explained what you're doing? Have you told them that you're going to need quiet and doing this ahead of time? Have you told them why it's important, and both what you're doing and the fact that you need quiet, why both of those things are important? Have you warned them, or do you kind of sneak off and try to go and get some work done, and then when they catch you, you're frustrated because they interrupted you? And like, just note that if you are telling them when you're already in the middle of what you're trying to do and you are frustrated already, it's not going to be as effective. So, and of course, this doesn't apply as much if you have really little ones who don't understand. There's always that stage of life allowance, right? But I do even tell my 2-year-old, for example, because they really do understand more than we know. So I explain it. I use big people words. This is just always how I've parented. And my kids really do understand quite a lot. So that is for starters. So say hello if you are here so that I know who's watching. I can't see who's watching, and I don't know if my comments are working, so there's that too. The second thing to make sure that you have in place before even starting on any of these 6 tips that I'm going to give you is to make sure that you have boundaries in place with your kids. For example, are they regularly allowed to play with or touch your work items, right? Are they allowed to use your designated space? Do you have a designated space? It can be really confusing for young kids if you change the rules all the time, right? So I suggest that they are never allowed to use your work items unless it's absolutely necessary. Like, if you have a student at home that uses your computer for schoolwork, but usually they're old enough to respect the boundaries, right? And to understand a little bit more complex boundaries. But for younger kids, having those in place and saying that they are never allowed to touch those things makes it really clear for them. It's a subtle but powerful tell for them, right? A signal to say, okay, mom's touching that stuff that I'm not allowed to be involved with, so therefore it's your time, right? And of course, again, no all or nothing type statements coming from me. There will be times where the rules don't get stuck to and you have to enforce and all of that. And last of all, before we get to the main tips here, how much time are you expecting your kids to give you? I know that a lot of us as mom entrepreneurs, we tend to work while they're sleeping, right? We try to do things when they're asleep. And if you're lucky or your kids are younger, you'll still have extra time to work during nap times. But if your kids are, let's say, over 4 and they don't nap, or if you actually want to show them what it takes to achieve your dreams and to grow a business, then they need to see you work sometimes. And sometimes you can't help it, especially when they're older. But if you think that your toddler or your preschooler should give you 8 hours of uninterrupted work time, you better be providing another caregiver for them, right? Because that's not possible. It is not something that they can handle. So solution in this case is to limit it to smaller chunks of time. Use your time wisely when they're sleeping to plan what needs to be done when they're awake so that you can just do things really quickly and not have to use quite as much focus. And also just getting the tasks that require the most focus done while they're sleeping too. So anyway, without further ado, here are the 6 things that you need to master to get your work done effectively when the kids are around and awake. And you may or may not love them all, but these are really powerful and important. So first of all, you need to stand your ground. Like I said, I don't do permissive parenting. So I always say, don't make a threat unless you're willing to follow through on it. They need to know that you mean what you say when you say it, so that they can learn their boundaries. If you do not stand by what you're saying, they will start to push it farther and farther and farther. So first off, stand your ground. The second thing that you need is a combination of time management and integrity. So you need to be honest with them and accurate with them even before they can tell time. 5 minutes means 5 minutes. 1 hour means 1 hour, right? If you break your word on your time frame, especially more than once, like if you're doing it consistently, then they learn not to trust what you say. And so then they feel desperate about the time. They feel like they're never going to get your attention again. And then they start to push and interrupt, and because they really can't trust, and they don't know how long you're going to be, even if you've said it, because you've broken your word. So not to mention that to run a profitable business, you can't work 24/7. So you do need to have time management skills. You do need to have boundaries in place, even for yourself, for not working more than you say you're going to work. And then you also need to be able to use your time effectively with task management. So this is the third one. Like I mentioned before, you need to pick what you do when carefully. You don't want to knock off all of your easy tasks in the morning while they're sleeping and then expect to focus while they're full of energy during the day, right? That just doesn't work. And a lot of these things, again, they're logical, or they might be things that you have heard before, but sometimes we just need to have them like directly handed to us, right? So the fourth one is I wrote down, put them first, not only, but then I crossed that out and put second, because as anyone who has worked with me or who has been in my world for a while knows, there is a right order, I say, to do things. And first, you need to fill your cup. Because if your cup is empty, you can't pour into other people's cups. And you just won't be able to be the best mom, business owner, whatever that you can be. The second thing that you do every day after you've filled your cup is to fill your kids' cups. And of course, if they're still sleeping and you have time to work, go ahead and work. That's a given. But the next most important thing on your list is to fill your kids' cups. Then cleaning your space, then getting to work, kind of a thing. So if you put yourself first before they wake up, they will still perceive you as putting them first. So they will still feel that sense of like, I am so important to mom, etc., because they're next. And they should have your time before the rest of the world has your time. So if you take the time to fill their cup, to snuggle, to play, etc., burn out some of their energy before you start working, then when you're ready to work, they're calmer. They are more ready to be independent, and they need you less, right? If you take the time to meet their needs and kind of go through the list, right? You need to be able to say that they've gone to the bathroom, that they've had a diaper change, that they've eaten, that they've had something to drink, all of these things, that they've had enough sleep, whatever, so that you know that their needs are met. And then when they come to you and they're saying they need something, you can be like, I know you don't need anything, right? It makes it a lot easier to stick to your boundaries and say no. And they just will have less needs come up because their needs literally have been met, right? So then number 5 is to have a schedule. And for those of you who hate that word, and I do have especially one client in particular who hates that word. So even if you hate having a schedule though, it is like, even if it's why you started working for yourself because you didn't want to have to follow a schedule, it is really important to have at least a rhythm to your days that helps your kids know what to expect next. This is developmentally really important for young kids. And also it helps you too. It actually just prevents having to make new decisions all the time. It keeps you like moving along to the next task faster, all of that. And if you need help with building routines and schedules, I'm your gal, because I'm great with that. And sneak peek, there is something coming up soon for you if you struggle with that. So let me know if that's something you're struggling with. Drop that in the comments. And I will make sure to include you when I start sharing about that. And I'm just going to quickly... Okay, there are comments. So yeah, I can't see the comments at all. So I'm just going to quickly scroll back in the comments. And see, hi Ashley. Hi Katie. Schedules are amazing. Kids crave structure. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And even if they don't think that they do, when they have structure, they thrive, right? They just do so well. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Number 6 is to increase your productivity and learn to prioritize. And this one is big and it's hard and it doesn't come naturally to everyone. But those two pieces go together very much. So if you struggle with prioritization, bleh, you simply are not going to be as productive, right? In order to be extremely productive, you need to have clarity on what your priorities are. And then you need to have either great integrity with yourself to stick to what needs to be done in the correct order, or you need to have accountability in some form, which is a big part of what I do in my coaching. So having a clear plan and having those pre-made decisions in place saves you a ton of time and it saves so much effort. And then when you actually get the right things done first at the right times, like when your energy is peaking and you build momentum for the things that are a little bit more of a struggle, or that you might get bored of, or you get the difficult things out of the way first so that when your energy starts to wane, you are able to work on things that just don't require as much of it, right? Or even you'll knock off so many things off of your list that it won't matter anymore if you don't get through the rest of the list, because having done it in priority order, the things that get left behind aren't going to be as important. And pardon me, my throat is so dry. So if you haven't been around here for long, because there's a lot of new group members, and there's been a lot of like in and out kind of as I start to clean out the group a little bit. But so you might be wondering who I am, what I do, why I'm qualified to tell you what to do. So first of all, as a member of this group, please always feel free to reach out to me privately. I love to get to know my group members and not as a sale, as an actual person. So I'm very open to that. You are more than welcome to reach out. Secondly, I am a purpose and productivity coach for impact-driven mompreneurs who are ready to take action on their big purpose, but they don't want to sacrifice being present with their kids while they're young. So what does that even mean? It means that if you have a big purpose calling you, kind of like pulling you forward in your life, and you want to make a big impact on the world, but you are worried about losing touch with your kids, you want to send me a message right now. And that is because there are limited spots available in my coaching and the price is going up August 1st. And I, as a coach, teach you how to stay present while you take action. I support you in taking action on your purpose in life, faster, without, and like with the most productive way possible, without losing sight of the real world and those other things that are so important. And they are so important, and they should be. But that doesn't mean that you have to wait until your kids are older to be able to move forward with your purpose in life, and fulfill your dreams and expand and grow your reach and all of these things. I help my clients to do these things. Pardon me, I almost made it through. So if you are at all interested in working with me, all of my prices are going up as of August 1st. So reach out in the DMs or drop a me in the comments if you would like to book a call just to see if there's something that I can do to support you. Oh man. And I'm going to cut this short really quickly before I start having a really big coughing fit. So I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday. And thank you for coming and watching me live. And let me know if you are here on the replay as well, and tag me if you have any questions in the comments so that I can answer them for you. I'm going to go because my voice, oh my goodness. Thank you, ladies.